mainly on non-paved surfaces with a low of 33 tomorrow night. Blend of clouds and sunshine Monday, not nearly as cold with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Steve Travis for FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey, it's Allman here, and please, people, wake up. As in, wake up to Brook Linen Bed Sheets. Oh, yeah, these are luxurious, these are cool, these are smooth. They come in all kinds of different great patterns and colors no matter what. And, man, I'll tell you what, by comparison, it's going to make you feel like you've been sleeping on sandpaper when you pull the Brook Linen Bed Sheets out of the box delivered to your home. By the way, free shipping and $20 off when you use the code ALLMAN when you go to brooklinen.com. That's the deal exclusively for you folks who are Allman in the Morning listeners. And also, by the way, you're dealing with a company that is the winner of the best of online bedding category by the good folks at Good Housekeeping. So you can't go wrong. This is luxury bedding, underpriced. You got to try the sheets to believe it. 60-day guarantee. You can sleep on them. If you don't like them, you can send them all back. And, of course, they have the full warranties on all the sheets and comforters. So check it out on the web, brooklinen.com, promo code ALLMAN, $20 off, and free shipping.
Hi, this is Savannah Guthrie with an urgent story developing right now in every state and county across America. Despite having more than enough food available in this country, there are nearly 16 million kids, that's 1 in 5 children, struggling with hunger. They often don't even know where their next meal is coming from. And the worst part is, this has been going on for years. There's no excuse for it, and that's why Feeding America is doing its best to put an end to childhood hunger. As a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America engages local communities in solving hunger by collecting surplus food, giving hope to hungry kids and their families all across our nation. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. You can start by going to feedingamerica.org to learn more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
Stephon Clark did not choose violence.
The United States is open to building a better relationship with Russia.
This was a domestic terrorist.
We are not trying to privatize the VA.
Stay connected.
This is a question that's been included in every census since 1965.
Our plan will create up to 400,000 new infrastructure jobs.
FM News Talk 97.1.
No more DACA deal.
Younger, smarter, better.
This hour of the Tim Jones Show is brought to you by Convergent Wealth Management, your lifelong financial advocate. ConvergentWM.com.
This is the Tim Jones Show.
There's a lot of people that have to live their lives like you, John, and work really hard and raise a family. And I'm guessing you're probably doing some or all these things.
Right on the mark. The Tim Jones Show.
You really don't know what you're talking about right now.
All right.
What he is doing brings tears to the eyes of the Statue of Liberty.
Thanks for being on the air for us. Got a great show.
This is the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1.
Americans are dreamers too.
Good evening this evening. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1. Once again, coming to you live from our beautiful new, overly ostentatious downtown studios.
It's beautiful.
These are really nice studios. And Ken, look, there's a window behind me.
I'm still getting used to that.
Window on the world here.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. If we had protesters, I don't know if they could throw things this high or not. I'm not sure. I'm sure we eventually will.
Yeah.
They may not be protesting us, but they're always down here, right?
Right. Somewhere.
Anytime something bad happens.
Sure.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, so folks, this hasn't probably made much difference to you all because the station's the same, the talent's the same, the lineup's the same, but as opposed to where we were a couple weeks ago, we're once again coming to you live from our new studios here at Entercom. So Entercom, really quick. So Emmis was our parent company for a long time. They had 4 stations here in St. Louis. Emmis completely sold out of that market, and the stations all went to 2 other companies, and we, KFTK, FM News Talk 97.1, and KNOU 96.3, joined the Entercom family. Entercom is another great national company in the media space. So far, from what I've seen, from what everybody has told me, they are wonderful. They are nationwide. They have stations all over the place. And we joined the St. Louis Intercom family, which is a great lineup of 97.1, 96.3, Y98, KMOX over on the AM band. So we've got the two talk bands covered.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm leaving somebody out. Oh, KZK, 102.5. So 5 stations under the Intercom umbrella. So we have physically moved space. We left Union Station and we moved about, I don't know, a few blocks to the north. We're over here in the Park Pacific building, the beautiful Park Pacific building, right across the street, Ken, from where I married my wonderful, beautiful, talented, brilliant wife, Suzanne. At
Wow,
the
rub it in a little bit more then.
Exactly. The Episcopal Cathedral. Hopefully Suzanne's listening, so she heard all those wonderful compliments. Yeah, so we're there. So if you all are during the week, if you're listening and there's contests or something and you need to pick up tickets or what have you, no longer go to Union Station. We are not there anymore. We are physically in a new location across the street from the beautiful St. Louis Public Library, which is a really glorious building if you've never been in there. It's very pretty. They restored it a few years ago, rehabbed it. The Episcopal Cathedral on the other corner. Across the street from, we got Soldiers Memorial right over my shoulder here behind me.
I find that really awesome.
That's a great place.
You can look right out the window and see it.
Yeah, and
at night it's beautiful.
That's
too.
pretty cool that we're down there. We see an homage to our brave men and women. That's a improvement.
Yep,
that's cool. And so we have windows. I've never been in a studio with. It's a little distracting. I'll have to get used to this. I know, but we're glad you joined us. We hope you enjoyed our very special Easter program last week, where I had some great guests. Sister Kathleen from the English Tutoring Project, John Battaglia from Capital Commission. Chris Arps joined me. So let me start by reminding you that the Weekend Report and the Tim Jones Show have teamed up for our first ever live studio audience event. Now, we're not going to be broadcasting per se, but we will be there live in the flesh, as will you. And we want to fill the venue for an incredible keynote speaker, fellow by the name of Burgess Owens. Any of you who are sports fans probably remember that name. He's NFL Super Bowl champion, Burgess Owens. And he is coming to St. Louis to be our keynoter for the first ever weekend show, Tim Jones Show, live event. And I'm pulling up some information. It is Saturday, April 21st at View 17, the location of my day job, where I am the communications media director over at the First Rule Media Network. And here it is, pulling up here. So if you go to our website, if you go to 971talk.com/events, the Burgess Owens book event will pop up. And you can get tickets there. They're going very fast. They're very, what a great deal. $30 for the VIP, and you get Burgess's book. He'll sign it for you right there and then, annotate it however you want. Just don't make him write a paragraph. And you get the, we're going to have a bar, we're going to have VIP, and then the main event is $20. So $30 or $20. I do want to let you know, and I'm not just saying this to promote it. I've been told the VIP tickets are very quickly selling out. So I don't know how many are left. I'll try to get an update for you. But we really want you to join myself, Chris Arps with his organization, MoveOnUp.org, The Weekend Report with Chris Arps, Tony Colombo, Katie Bailey. We may have some other special guests there. We'll see. I believe Ken's going to be there live with me.
Yeah, I hope to be, yes.
You can see how tall we are in person. Burgess wrote a book, Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. And boy, is that ever timely. In this age of hyper-political correctness and groupthink and the herd mentality, all the things that Tucker Carlson always talks about, I think that's what Burgess has personified in this book. He is a black conservative, which honestly is not that unusual anymore. We have black conservatives on this station every day, all day. But of course, the left thinks they're curious beings. You know, how can these black people or these Hispanics or these women, how can they dare to be Republican? The left still treats them, because that's what they do. They have class and race and gender warfare because they need to segregate everybody. They're the new segregationists, and they got to put everybody in little boxes So they can.
Well, if they don't have the answers, they also do that. They resort to it every time.
Right, instead of just standing on freedom. So I really want you all to come meet me and say hello, and all trying to get all my family and friends there and as many fans as possible. And I really hope you can join us Saturday, April 21st, coming up real fast at View 17, which is right there just south of Clayton. Easy access from the Interstate 64, free parking, beautiful venue. We're on the 17th floor, and creative name, right? And it's got an incredible view. It's View 17. Over at the First Rule Media Network with the Tim Jones Show, moveonup.org with Chris Arps and Tony Colombo, Katie Bailey with the Weekend Report. So go to the website and check that out while we're talking this evening.
And my only reason why I wouldn't be there is if I was holding down the fort here.
Yeah,
that's it. So I'm trying to find somebody to fill in for me so I can be there.
Somebody's got to keep the lights on and keep all the switches plugged in. So because Ken works not only all week, but he works all weekend. I'm not sure if they ever let him go home. So. No. Hey, we had a great Masters finish. I'm a big golf fan. As if you couldn't tell, if you're watching me on the webcam, I've got my Masters hat and my pullover on. So got my own green jacket on.
I have my Trump golf course.
He's got his Trump green golf hat. So we're all celebrating the Masters tonight. If you're golf fans, it was an incredible finish. It was a great finish. Patrick Reed, I like Patrick Reed because he wears his emotions on his sleeve. You know, I kind of like that guy. You know, because I identify with that. Jordan Spieth made a heck of a charge at the end. Looked like he actually caught him for a period of time, and then Patrick Reed held on to victory. So it was Patrick Reed. Ricky Fowler ended up in second, and Jordan ended up in third. It was a great Masters if you're into that this weekend. We have got lots to talk. A lot happened this week. I mean, it seems like with President Trump, it's usually 2 to 3 weeks worth of news in 1 week. And so I think we've got Tim's top three ready. So let's do it.
Now the Tim Jones Show presents
Tim's top three.
So hard to pick three, but we did because Ken made me do it that way. First world problems. First world problems are the fact there is dangerous people in this world, something the left doesn't want to understand or agree with unless, of course, they can blame it on a firearm. But if it involves things like Syrians using gas weaponry on their own citizens, some of them care, some of them don't. I did find a Democrat that cares, though, Senator Ben Cardin, and I got some sound from him later. So Syria strikes again. Donald Trump will have a real red line in the sand that Barack Obama never knew how to enforce. Trump talking tough on trade. The trade wars continue. The market doesn't like it. It was reeling this week, up and down, backwards and forwards. The return to volatility, but Trump is doing the right thing on trade. Guess who agrees with him? None other than Fareed Zakaria. We'll hear from Fareed later as well. And Mueller, mayhem, the nothing burger bus barrels on. You know, what happened? What happened to Russian collusion? It's kind of gone by the wayside. Meanwhile, I think the Democrats are the ones shaking in their booties because people like Congressman Trey Gowdy, who has been extremely nonpartisan on this issue. In fact, the guy is so fed up with Congress, he's not running again. He said, I think a second special counsel in some shape or other is on its way. Jeff Sessions may end up being... I think we've all been aggravated with him, but you know what? The race sometimes goes to the tortoise and not the hare.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw an interesting thing today where someone said, just you wait. Jeff Sessions is a very deliberate guy, and he may be setting this all up. And it'll be legit. It won't be like a witch hunt like the Mueller investigation. Jeff Sessions will have stuff on this deep state Clinton crime cartel, Barack Obama in the tank White House for the Hillary campaign. They will have some real dirt on them, and he's going to throw it out right around election time. We could have a nice little September or October surprise. So you know what? If Jeff Sessions has been getting all his ducks in a row and making sure his eggs are all lined up in the basket and he needed all this time, then I think a lot of us will be like, he was the smart one.
Yep.
So we will see on that.
It's going to be interesting.
It really will be. Got a great lineup tonight. Oh, first of all, well, we do have new call-in lines. Many of you may have them written down by now, or you have them memorized, because like I said, we've been over in this studio for a couple weeks now. The local call line for all of you is 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. toll-free from anywhere in the country, if not the world. We do got our one buddy that calls in from Lord knows where every week or so.
Yeah, I'm not sure where.
What's his name? Steve or Rick?
Rick.
Mm-hmm. 866-455-9797. 866-455-9797. So you can call us locally, 314-241-9797, or from anywhere in the world, 866-455-9797. Jenny Beth Martin joins us right after the break. I'm excited about this guest. She's the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. JennyBethMartin.net. She's at JennyBethM. Jenny joins us next. Then we'll have Aaron Willard from Missouri Rising in the next hour talking about beating the crap out of Claire here in Missouri, which we're going to do this year. 1 year anniversary just about of Neil Gorsuch taking the bench. One of the many things that Claire voted against Missourians on. We'll talk to Aaron Willard. We've got media malpractice. Oh, so much more ahead here on The Tim Jones Show, as we are every Sunday night from 7 to 9 p.m. at FM News Talk 97.1.
The Tim Jones Show.
Reclaiming my time.
This is The Tim Jones
Reclaiming my time.
On FM News Talk.
You did not respond. Let us keep going.
The Tim Jones Show.
When you're on my time, I can reclaim it. I'm reclaiming my time.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Download the free Next Radio app on your phone and listen to live local FM radio. It's now available on all smartphones. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the app today. Next Radio, an affiliate of MS Communications.
Hi, I'm Jay Ashcroft. Here at the Secretary of State's office, we take the integrity of our elections seriously. Missourians agreed and passed Constitutional Amendment 6. Missouri's new photo ID law is now in effect. Have questions about the new voter ID law or need to register to vote? We're here to help. Visit showittovote.com or call 866-868-3245. Remember, if you're registered to vote, you can vote.
Sponsored by the Missouri Secretary of State's office.
Hey, Tim Jones here for Convergent Wealth Management. We're going to have to get John Stobbs and Jeannie Seaball down here to see our new wonderful surroundings. I know they'll be impressed with our little window on the world behind me here. Hey, folks, tonight, they're not at the office in Chesterfield, but their website's always open 24/7. It's got a great amount of incredible information on it. ConvergentWM.com. That's ConvergentWM.com. Tomorrow, you can give them a ring at 636-536-1800. 636-536-1800. Why should you do that? Hey, if you haven't noticed, we're right in the middle of tax season. In fact, it's about time to pay the piper. And if you've been putting that off, that's one thing they can help you with right now. If you're a baby boomer, you're in pre-retirement, maybe you're working your way through retirement, maybe you've retired and you're incredibly concerned and worried now about all this market volatility. These are the folks to call for your insurance needs, for your tax needs, for your financial planning needs. Convergent Wealth Management. Look them up tonight, convergentwm.com. Give them a call tomorrow, 636-536-1800. Why should you do that? Because they are wealth for the way.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Brooklinen Bedding, brooklinen.com. So we spend about a third of our lives in bed. I really don't feel like I need to spend a lot of time convincing you that bedding is important because you're a human being alive on the planet Earth and you sleep. And I'm sure that you have slept in beds where you thought, oh my Lord, that was the best night's sleep I've ever had. Or that those sheets were really scratchy. I'm glad we don't have those sheets at home. So Brooklinen was started by a couple, Vicky and Rich, who slept on a great set of bedding at an upscale hotel, wanted to buy the bedding. They could. It was $800. They said, that's crazy. They looked into the business and decided, we're going to do this. We can go direct to the people and give them great bedding at a fraction of the price. So if you use my name, Glover, at brooklinen.com, I can get you $20 off your order and free shipping. Again, that's Brooklinen, BROOKLINEN, brooklinen.com. The promo code code is Glover, $20 off and free shipping.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed and up to date.
The U.S. economy is strong.
Getting growth back to 3%.
We have rising wage growth.
Very good for the economy.
The news and talk station for St. Louis.
Putin assassinate people in foreign countries.
Costs and consequences. We have filed a lawsuit. The citizenship question on the census.
FM News Talk 97.1.
The leader of North Korea leaving his country for the...
At least we have some hope and optimism now.
Younger, smarter.
Best be very cautious.
Better.
Not a soul up ahead and nothing behind. There's a desert in my blood and a storm in your eyes. Am I the king of nothing at all? And you're the queen of nothing at all? Well, I remember the fight and I forget the pain. I got my hand in your pocket and my key in your chain. Am I the king of nothing at all? And you're the queen of nothing at all?
This is the Tim Jones Show. Call now, 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797.
There's a troubling pathology in the news where people seem to be unwilling to cover what is positive news for President Trump. There's not positive news as well, but that rather one-sided account is getting increasingly alarming. The fact is that there is not a strong, credible case of crime that is emerging from this investigation. After a year, after hundreds of thousands of documents that have been turned over, after multiple cooperating witnesses, after dozens of criminal counts, none of those filings have created a nexus between a criminal act and the president or even the campaign for the most part.
And collusion, Professor, is not a crime, is it?
It's not. And
yeah, that's called Trump derangement syndrome. Liberalism is a mental disorder. That was Professor Jonathan Turley, liberal professor Jonathan Turley, who's been, supportive of this administration in many ways. Because, you know why? Because whether you're liberal, conservative, or don't care what your party label is, you should want to respect the rule of law. And ultimately, Jonathan Turley is a student of the law, a lifelong student of the law. He's argued before the highest courts in the land. He's extremely well respected. And he says, look, he had a great article this week. Let's see if I can give you the name of it. Let's see here. Yeah. And they referred to it in our... so he basically has said, whether you like it or not, President Trump is the president of the United States. He was duly and properly and lawfully elected. And here we are now, almost a year and a half later, and there's some people that want to relitigate something that is unlitigatable. Back in November of 2016. And they can't get over that one basic fact. And that's why you have all this stuff since then. And why can I say that? Because nothing they have attempted to throw at President Trump has stuck one iota or one bit. You notice that. It's this constant churn. So to talk about that and so much more now is Jenny Beth Martin. She is the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. Jenny Beth, thanks for joining us tonight on a Sunday, and welcome to the Tim Jones Show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Tim.
So, did you see any of that commentary from Professor Turley this week, or the article that he wrote about that issue?
I had not seen that, but I found what you were saying about it very interesting, and it is refreshing to understand that there are liberals and people who we disagree with on so many things, but where we can find that common ground. That, especially when it comes to the fact that the president is the president for everyone.
Yeah,
who is duly elected.
Yeah, Jenny, I'm sure you see this every day in your work and in the great job you do spreading the message of hope, freedom, and opportunity for all Americans. If they would just understand that government, as President Reagan said, government is not the answer; they are the problem. What is it about? I've never seen liberals this unhinged. What is it about President Trump that they just cannot accept the very fact that he is the president and is going to be for at least 2, if not 6 more years?
Well, I think that one thing is that they simply did not. They did not think that he had any chance of winning. They believed their own press and did not look at the possibility that he would win and it not be Hillary. So that just shocked them for whatever reason, and they haven't been able to get over that shock. And then the other thing is that he is systematically undoing so much of what President Obama did, and he's showing that we can have sustained 3% economic growth quarter after quarter, which we did not have under President Obama. They told us to just get used to 1.8% economic growth. We're seeing that you can have tax cuts. We're seeing that you can roll back regulations and have more limited government. And I think that it is bothering them because they're seeing that there are positive results when you implement more conservative policies.
Oh, Jenny Beth, I think you hit the nail on the head there. We are speaking with Jenny Beth Martin. She's at Jenny Beth M, on Twitter. You're right. They had control of the White House for 8 years, and they were systematically implementing a bigger government, lesser freedom agenda and the regulations were probably the biggest thing because President Obama had to use his pen and phone and couldn't work with Congress, pretty much with anybody on any side of the aisle. He pretty much holed up in the White House versus President Trump, who's out and about talking to everybody every day on both sides of the aisle. You're right. And they're seeing the systematic dismantling of that now. And that's why they, light their hair on fire, it seems, every week, because it's so refreshing, isn't it, Jenny, that President Trump is maybe the first politician I've seen in a long time who actually is working hard to implement everything he promised he would do during the campaign.
It is. It's very refreshing. And we certainly haven't seen that from presidents in many years. I think that we have seen it from some politicians on both the right and the left who really are who care about their values and the reasons that they were elected. But by and large, most of the members of Congress, whether it's Republican or Democrat, when they get to Washington, the establishment just takes over, and they do what their party establishment wants, regardless of the promises that they made.
Speaking of Jenny Beth Martin, co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. Jenny Beth, I saw something on your Twitter feed that I thought was right on point and fascinating about your push for Congress to end the Iran deal. And that's something that you just mentioned, the establishment. That's something, the Iran deal is apparently something the establishment, unfortunately, some on both sides of the aisle, they just don't want the president to touch it, and so all these ivory tower elitists in D.C. and on the coast, they just don't want him to touch it. They say it'll be the end of the world if he dares. Why is it in our best interest to end that deal and start over with one that's more in America's best interest?
Well, the biggest reason is that we have reason to believe that they are violating the deal already. So if they're violating the deal and there are no consequences to the violation of the deal, then that is a problem. And if there are no consequences, then they're going to continue to push and push and push until at some point they meet resistance. So it's important to make sure that if they're not living up to the deal that we get out of it. But even bigger than that, they pose an existential threat to our country. If they get nuclear weapons, it poses a threat to us, it poses a threat to our allies who are in their geographic region, and it poses a threat to the entire world. And that is why Tea Party patriots back in 2015 opposed the Iran deal to begin with. And we worked with Senator Cruz and Congressman Lee Zeldin and then candidate and businessman Donald Trump trying to stop that deal from ever being implemented. It was a treaty, and it should have been treated as a treaty, but it's just another example of what we're just mentioning, that when President Obama couldn't get his way with Congress, he would try to work around them. Well, the left is finding out that when you do things like that and you implement things through executive order, they can be undone also.
Jenny Beth, another thing that I saw you were highlighting is, there's the latest witch hunt every day it seems, whether it's the left or the media. I'm being redundant probably by having to spell that out. But every day, instead of reporting the news or working together with the president to try to make our country great again as the most free, most democratic country on the face of the planet, they want to divide and conquer. They want to pick. They want to try death by 1,000 cuts, and sometimes they're successful. Largely, they haven't been. Seems like their latest target is Scott Pruitt, the EPA administrator. I've gotten to meet the administrator. I think he's a great guy. I think he's doing a great job. I think this is just another thing where they are losing their minds over what Scott Pruitt is trying to do to reform the EPA. That's one of the things that the left loves. They love the EPA. They love regulations. But the EPA has done nothing but harm the environment over the last few years. Remember that the huge toxic spill they had in the river out west. It's a regulatory body that seems just to want to put American businesses out of business. What do you think happens to Scott Pruitt? And give us the case for why he should survive.
Well, he should survive because he is implementing President Trump's vision and his promise to drain the swamp in a regulatory through the deregulation. And Scott Pruitt, as the Environmental Protection Agency administrator, is showing that you can have clean air and clean water and also do so in a way that government is more restrained. And I think that is critically important. Businesses need to be able to get through the regulations and be able then to meet what is required of them and continue to be able to build factories and businesses and create new job growth and opportunity in this country. And the EPA has hindered that over the years. He, more than any other person in the administration, has rolled back regulations in a way that is just phenomenal, and we want to continue to see that happen. So we need to make sure that we help him stay in the position that he is in. And I think that the attacks that we were seeing last week, every single government official, especially when you're nominated by the president, approved by Congress, when you're in an appointed position, you're going to fall under scrutiny. That happens. It absolutely happens.
Absolutely.
And so that's happening. But nothing that I've seen from him actually rises to the level of a fireable offense. It simply does not. And we can sit here and argue about whether we agree with the way he's handled everything or not. But the fact is, when it comes down to the results that he has done in his job, we cannot argue with how effective he's being. I think he's being attacked because the left, they cannot stand the thought of the Environmental Protection Agency not having as much power as it did.
Boy, isn't the double standard just so evident, Jenny Beth, when, conservatives and Tea Party folks like yourself and so many of the other groups had to undergo unconstitutional, fascist type attention from Loretta Lynch, and the IRS and the rest of the gang up there under Obama. And it was like the media shrugged that off like it was no big deal. The double standard here of the attacks on conservatives versus the shielding that liberals and folks on the left get is really, it's becoming beyond hypocritical.
It really is. Eric Holder was found in contempt of Congress,
right,
and he did not resign. So you may not like the way that Scott Pruitt traveled, but he has not been found in contempt of Congress. He's not done anything that rises to the level of a fireable offense.
One final topic I wanted to go over with you, and this is sort of breaking news, just kind of happened over the last few days, this issue with Syria. And once again, of course, President Trump's not getting any credit from the media. He's only being attacked And there's this, again, there's a fake false news narrative out there that somehow Trump is soft on Russia and he's buddies with Putin and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, this President Donald Trump, has probably been tougher on Russia than any of his predecessors. When you consider that Obama, wanted to hit the reset button and would have more, Hillary wanted to do the reset button. Obama said he would have more flexibility after he was getting elected and all this. Trump has kicked out diplomats. He's strengthened the sanctions. Just in the last few hours, he put out a very strong statement threatening Assad, who is the front man for Putin in Syria. And I really think the president, if he says, I'm going to do something, unlike President Obama's strategic patience and continually redrawing lines in the sand, I think President Trump, this is a very complex situation, but if there's somebody who can make some progress on this, it's him.
I think that you're right, and I want to say this. I'm not an expert when it comes to international affairs and national security, so I'm not the best person to answer those questions. I do think this about President Trump. He has surrounded himself by people who care deeply about national security. He himself said that he was signing that awful omnibus bill because he knew it would help strengthen our military. He's looking at not just the threats that we've had in the past, like from Syria, but also at the threats that are looming on the horizon, like Russia and China, and trying to make sure that our military is positioned so that it can best defend the interests of the United States. If we've finished an engagement area, which is what it seems to me he's saying with Syria, then it's time to reevaluate whether we need to be there still or not. And that is the same kind of thing that he said he was going to do on the campaign trail.
Absolutely. Well, you sound like you know enough about international relations for me, Jenny Beth, so I'll take that as a excellent answer to my question. Jenny Beth Martin, co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. We really appreciate you joining us tonight on the Tim Jones Show. Hope to have you back again soon sometime.
Oh, I'd love it. Thanks so much for having me, Tim.
Thanks, Jenny Beth. Have a great night. That was Jenny Beth Martin, the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots. She's at Jenny Beth M on Twitter. We'll be back with a little media malpractice.
Tim Jones Show.
Does one of us have to come out alive?
On FM News Talk 97.1.
The Landenberg Memorial Speaker Series presents Culture and Opportunity in America, a discussion with authors Robert Frank and Charles Murray, hosted by Mark Cox, Tuesday, May 8th at Lindenwood University, sponsored by the Hammond Institute. Get more info at 971talk.com.
Do you know where your CPAP is? Studies estimate that half of those prescribed to CPAP don't use it. I'm Jim Evinger with Renew Sleep Solutions. Our Renew Sleep system is FDA cleared, compact, and comfortable. It's custom fit just for you and proven to treat your sleep apnea without a big, bulky CPAP mask or painful surgery. Call 314-279-9000. That's 314-279-9000. Or go to renewsleep.com.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
Hey, Tim Jones here for Universal Windows Direct. UniversalWindowsSt.Louis.com. You can reach them at 314-878-0300. Hey, y'all thought winter was over, right? Well, as I'm pulling into the garage tonight, there are snowflakes falling on my car window, and my car is chilly. So if you've got really old, drafty windows in your house, you're still feeling winter to the bone at home. Why keep suffering through that? Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. I've told you a lot about the Super Spacer technology. Did you know that was based on a design? It was designed by NASA, and the Universal Windows guys were able to get a hold of that design and put it into their windows. That's a heck of a window, with a great seal, so it lasts longer and performs better. Every window you buy, you get the next one free. There's no limits to that. 0% financing for 36 months. They've got that free installation, as always. They back it up with the true lifetime warranty. I've never heard a warranty like this before. As long as you own your home and 30 years to the next homeowner, you really need to call now for your in-home estimate today. Schedule it now, 314-878-0300, 314-878-0300. Go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it all the time.
What are we going to do if we lose the house?
It's time to stop thinking and start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Brian Kilmeade with a reminder to join me each weekday morning from 9 till noon as we cover the biggest and hottest news of the day. We'll even mix in some fun. Kilmeade and Friends, weekdays at 9 a.m. on FM News Talk 97.1.
This hour of the Tim Jones Show is brought to you by Convergent Wealth Management, your lifelong financial advocate. ConvergentWM.com.
This is the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1, 98.7, and AM 1490. Or streaming live at 971talk.com and the 97.1 mobile app.
Oh, yeah. I'm channeling my inner Mark Cox.
I like that.
Yeah.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was in a band called Tropics here in St. Louis, and we used to love to do this song. It was awesome.
Do you have an X on the end? Tropics?
With an X.
Nice.
Yes.
I think I remember that band.
Oh, we were playing we played 6 nights a week. Stages, everywhere. Just everywhere.
So I saw Van Halen when they came here, about 8-10 years ago?
Yep.
With David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
At the Scott Trade.
And it was David Lee Roth. You didn't expect him to be awesome live. He's just David Lee Roth.
It was fantastic. We had so much fun at that concert. Yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah, this brings back the memories of days when I was a young, strapping lad working on the golf course. I had a great tan that summer. Van Halen came out with 5150 around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is from the earlier album, but I thought so a few weeks ago when Ken and I, when they were literally dismantling the old studio around us, like people in there with drills and I was channeling my inner Lawrence O'Donnell. Stop the hammering. So we got to work on my stinger board because I'm going to have Stop the Hammering on there.
Yeah,
we'll
have that.
Yeah. So you played a little clip when we went out, and I'm going to segue into media malpractice here in a minute, and then out of it, and I've got some Bill Maher stuff later too, but it's around this whole subject Ken and I were talking about in the break. And see, I'm not a big boycott. I'm not a big anti-free. I'm a pro free speech person. even if it's speech I don't agree with. Now, the First Amendment, like every one of our rights in this country, is not unfettered. As an attorney, I know that. You know, we studied the famous First Amendment cases in law school where you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater if there's no fire. You're not supposed to endanger public health, safety, and welfare through your speech. But on the other hand, speech can be tough. Speech can be biting. Speech can be critical. That's why we're not a nation that punishes words per se. They do that in
almost everywhere else.
Almost everywhere else.
To some degree.
Yeah. Whether it's the old Soviet Union or the current modern day Russia or
even in Great Britain, you hear instances of it.
Even in Great Britain, you hear people now being punished because they can't have certain views about Muslim jihadi terrorists, for example.
Yep.
Which we'll get to that later. They're now calling Ken for now it's not guns, now it's knives. So they are now seeking to ban knives. So
then
once
then
yeah. What about assault cars? I guess the assault box trucks are next.
Our pressure cookers.
Avoiding the problem is what liberals do best. See, it doesn't feed in their narrative. See, the problem with the knife thing is, though, there's no organized knife lobby. And knives are everywhere. I mean, how ridiculous to now blame it on a knife. You know? How about blaming it on the problem? How about focusing on what is the commonality of these people who are doing all these stabbings in London? So I'm getting off track here. Kamala Harris, who's allegedly perhaps going to run for president. So you have a potential presidential candidate suggesting on live television that the current president of the United States and or the vice president should maybe die, or that she may assassinate them. And she may. Can you play that
Oh yeah.
stinger here in a second here with Kamala Harris? So you probably heard that this week, but you know what? There was no calls by the mainstream media for her to suffer any consequences. Do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Tim Jones Show.
Does one of us have to come out alive?
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Yeah, ha, ha, ha. You know what it was? It was a bad joke. It was a stupid... I understood it was a joke.
And I cut it off, but there was a lot of laughter after that.
There was a lot of laughter. There was a ton of laughter. She was on Ellen DeGeneres. Kamala Harris was on Ellen DeGeneres' show. And Ellen... I like Ellen, even though she's a liberal. I've always found her entertaining. Just like I thought Jon Stewart was entertaining.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel used to be funny. I don't find him funny anymore. Him and Sean Hannity had a feud this week that Hannity pretty much
I love that. That's pretty entertaining.
Stomped on him, and Kimmel had to apologize. So basically Ellen said, so if you were stuck in an elevator with President Trump, Vice President Pence, and Jeff Sessions, I forget what the setup was, and then she basically responds, "Does one of us have to come out alive?"
No, it was who would you want to ride in the elevator?
Who would you want to ride in the elevator? Yeah. Does one of us have to come out alive?
That's what she said. Yeah.
So she's basically threatening death, but she's not, folks. It was a joke, and I got it was a joke, but that's the hypocrisy of the left. If Mitt Romney had been asked that question about Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Kamala Harris, and if he would have said that, his political career would have been over because he would have been called a racist, a misogynist, a hater, Me Too.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah. That's the double standard. Kamala Harris, everybody's eyes got wide for like 5 seconds, and I went, even Ellen was kind of like, and it was like a 5-minute story, and it went away because we on the right, we got that it was a joke, and we moved on. Anytime somebody on the right says something hypercritical or even in a joking manner, if the left then clutches their pearls, gets up on their little teeny-weeny sanctimonious self-righteous stool, lights their hair on fire, stomps and screams, froths and spits, and has a fit and calls for boycotts and blah, blah, blah. We've seen it time and time and time again. Laura Ingraham is dealing with this over and over and over again. That is the double standard. So, brings me to media malpractice.
Now, the Tim Jones Show presents...
Someone believes some fake news story.
Especially by the media.
This is very dangerous to America.
They're corporatist, globalist media.
Media malpractice.
The president made a lot of news on the way back from a quick visit to West Virginia, where he also made headlines. He was there to campaign against Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and speak at a roundtable on taxes. He came with prepared remarks, only some of which he read. The rest he literally threw out.
So this was going to be my remarks. It would have taken about 2 minutes, but that would have been a little boring. Now I'm reading off the first paragraph. I said, this is boring.
Crowd loves it. Yeah, so...
Kind of summed up the moment. The president returning to the kind of rhetorical red meat, mostly fact-free red meat, we should point out that he enjoys much on the campaign trail, even reaching back and revisiting the remarks that stirred a lot of controversy on day one of his campaign.
Ooh, fact-free red meat.
Red meat.
Anderson, you are so pithy and witty. What a goofball. I mean, you should see this clip of Anderson doing this. He looks like he's sucking on a lemon. Let me tell you, folks, what this is really all about. Anderson Cooper and all the other left-wing liberal lunatics on all the other cable networks, MSNBC and CNN is fake news. They cannot stand when President Trump talks about fulfilling his campaign promises. Exactly what I talked to Jenny Beth Martin about from the Tea Party Patriots. They've never had a president that has done that. Usually what happens is they get in, they try to do one thing, maybe two. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of get in the swamp, they get neck deep in the swamp, and they realize how hard it is. So they give up. And it's like, I'm just going to go along to get along. I got the Democrats, and I got the Republicans, and I got the Senate leaders, and the Senate can't get anything done. Blah. So they give up. President Trump, if you notice, the guy is a freaking bulldozer. He's like full speed ahead. I'm not giving up. I'm not letting down. And if I got to throw red meat out there every once in a while to get everybody ginned back up, I'm going to do it because that's how I won the election. And here's what that proves. And this is what Anderson Cooper is terrified of. Anderson Cooper and the rest of the gang over at CNN and Rachel Maddow and the rest of her crew over at MSNBC. They're terrified that Americans are going to believe in their hearts and their minds that President Trump is not the problem. That he is doing everything he can to get his agenda through, and it's everybody else, and he's absolutely right. Whether it's the Senate not wanting to work hard enough, whether it's Congress not wanting to have too many vacations, whether it's the media, the left, they're worried that they're all going to get blamed, which would be appropriate blame, and that Trump is not.
And the media throws out that red meat portion constantly, every day, all day.
Yes. I've got another piece of media malpractice. I'm out of time here. I'm going to play it after the top of the break. This is another piece of media malpractice, kind of on the other foot. It's one of us, common sense conservatives, exposing the media malpractice, and it's Tucker Carlson. Did you all notice how the YouTube shooter story, does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say that just now? Do any of you out there know what I'm talking about? The YouTube shooter. Did you catch that this week? Because you needed to be watching very carefully because it happened. There was a shooting out in California at YouTube, and there was a gun used, and there was a shooting, and a bunch of people could have gotten killed. They didn't. The shooter's dead, right, Ken? She's gone. I think she shot herself, or they got her.
They tried to make it a lover's quarrel thing.
Yeah, well, it turns out it was everything but. And I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to play Tucker's clip when we come back. And then I'm going to explain to you why this was not a story. Where's the marches to end gun violence about the YouTube shit? Why isn't hashtag GunSense YouTuber shooter all over the place? You know why? It didn't fit their narrative. It didn't fit their narrative. That's where you know they're corrupt and they don't mean a darn thing they say. They're not serious about ending gun violence. They're serious about making it a campaign issue. They're serious about raising money off of it. They're serious about trashing law-abiding, gun-owning Americans on it, and that's why they're coming after your guns. Don't let them fool you. Retired Justice Stevens said what they're all thinking. They want to repeal the Second Amendment. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why the YouTube shooter did not grab all the headlines, and I want to hear from you on that as well. See if I'm right. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. When we come back on the Tim Jones Show at FM News Talk 97.1.
The Tim Jones Show.
I have smelled alcohol on your breath. Anything else?
No.
No.
No. Besides my meds.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Never paint again. Seriously. Who wants to paint anyways? Rhino Shield would love to paint your home, business, or church for the last time. You know, when it's not raining. Water and sun are the two most damaging villains against your home's defense for chipping, cracking, peeling, and rot. Our permanent ceramic coating locks out 100% of the moisture, 90% of the sun's UV rays, and we back it up with a 25-year transferable warranty. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. See why we are rapidly becoming your neighbor's go-to solution for cracks, splits, nail pops, and just bad color schemes. Now's the time to be smart to save time and money. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
That's the secret phone. The what? Remember, I told you my dad's a shelter agent. When that phone rings, he rushes out to save the day. Whether someone's home or car gets damaged, my dad is always there to help. He has the coolest job ever.
Well, my dad's an astronaut.
That's cool too, I guess.
Find your insurance superhero at shelterinsurance.com.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. TJ Williams from the Institute of Natural Health. I would like to invite you to tune in to our show, Wellness 101, Sundays at 3 p.m. During this exciting hour, we will be diving into the health topics that you want to know about. We will be talking about your concerns and giving real-life examples of ways people can heal and the transformations we have seen with our clients. So tune in to Wellness 101, Sundays at 3, where we will cut through the nonsense to provide you common sense, science-based strategies for a healthy life. That's Wellness 101, Sundays at 3. And you can find us online at theinstituteofnaturalhealth.com.
Join Don Quante, host of Elder Care Financial Radio, Saturday nights at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, where he'll be discussing the most cost-effective ways to pay for long-term care.
During this week's edition, we'll be highlighting a little-known government program that allows veterans to receive up to $26,000 a year tax-free to pay for long-term care.
Tune in this weekend or call 800-256-1607 to learn more. Elder Care Financial Radio, Saturday nights at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9 on FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So we all know we've got a lot of talent in America, but unfortunately there's something else we've got way too much of: childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM, Florissant. KFTK AM East St. Louis. K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A new security voice. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Former U.S. United Nations Ambassador John Bolton takes over tomorrow as President Trump's new national security advisor, replacing H.R. McMaster.
Bolton's immediate policy priorities will include North Korea, helping map out the president's potential sit-down with Kim Jong-un as early as this spring. Iran, helping the president figure out whether to recertify the nuclear deal next month. And Russia. The United States is currently conducting a joint investigation with the UK in the aftermath, earlier last month, of a nerve agent attack.
Fox's Jillian Turner. Bolton's critics say he may be too quick to suggest military solutions for some world hotspots. Likely topping John Bolton's list on day one, allegations of chemical weapon use by Syria late yesterday on a rebel-held area outside Damascus. Will the U.S. respond?
I wouldn't take anything off the table. These are horrible photos. We're looking into the attack at this point.
Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert on ABC's This Week. At least 40 people are reported dead, hundreds more possibly exposed, experts say, to a chemical agent. Gas prices are rising again.
Gasoline prices continued rising in these 2 weeks, this time 8 cents to an average $2.74 for regular. and it's been about 15 cents total rise during the past 6 weeks.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg with the Lundberg survey. That increase driven mainly by rising crude oil prices, the highest average price in the lower 48. San Francisco at $3.63 a gallon, the lowest Baton Rouge, Louisiana at $2.37. Patrick Reed winning his first major championship with a thrilling one-shot victory over Ricky Fowler at the Masters. Reed also overtaking Jordan Spieth to finish at 1 under 71 and 15 under 273 for the weekend. Spieth carding an 8 under today, finishing 2 shots behind Reed. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast. Mainly clear, very cold tonight, a low down about 27 degrees. Staying cold tomorrow as clouds increase with a high of 44. A mix of snow and rain will develop late tomorrow afternoon, ending as some snow tomorrow night, accumulating a coating to an inch in some areas, mainly on non-paved surfaces with a low of 33 tomorrow night. Blend of clouds and sunshine Monday, not nearly as cold with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Steve Travis for FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey neighbor, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate in the Metro East. We sell a house every 30 hours. We list it, we sell it, and you get to move on to your next adventure. Let's face it, life is busy, and who has hours to wait for strangers to show up so you can show them your home? Not to mention the tons of legal paperwork to sift through. I have been selling homes for over 22 years. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Get ready for the best prices of the year at Diamonds Direct. April 13th through 15th, a spectacular 3-day store-wide sale. Get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off virtually everything. All wedding bands, all earrings, all pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings, plus top designers flying in with their entire collections, all on sale. It's the jewelry event of the year when the staff knows they can break all the rules. Don't miss this. April 13th through 15th only, and only at Diamonds Direct. Olive and 270 at City Place.
Well, you felt it all winter. Now maybe you're going to regret not getting those drafty windows replaced. Tim Jones here for Universal Windows Direct. I've been telling you about these guys because of their high-quality windows that are going to save you money by making your home more energy efficient, totally custom to you, so they're definitely going to make your home more beautiful as well. They've got this patented super spacer technology I've been telling you about for a long time now. Check it out. Designed by NASA to create a better seal on your windows so they last longer and perform better. They've done such an amazing job. Universal Windows Direct got awarded the Angie's List Super Service Award for their quality and service. Do not keep suffering with those drafty windows. Been telling you over and over again to call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. This great offer. Every window you buy, you get the next window free. There's no limits. 0% financing for 36 months and free installation backed up by that true lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home to the next homeowner as well. Call today for your free in-home estimate. 314-878-0300. 314-878-0300. Go to universalwindowsstlouis.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love being a part of the Action Team. It helps me help other people. It helps me feel good.
Being a part of the team always feels good. Go for it. Don't even hesitate.
For more than a decade, Major League Baseball players and action teams of high school students have been working together to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Just that simple act that takes 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
All-stars Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Capuano join Action Team captains to make a difference in their communities. And you can too.
Just try it. Just go to one event, one Action Team event.
If we all show up together, that's what it's all about. It's not just one person, it's a group, it's a team.
It's been incredibly rewarding for me. It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
For more information, go to actionteam.org.
Trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
Stephon Clark did not choose violence.
The United States is open to building a better relationship with Russia.
This was a domestic terrorist.
We are not trying to privatize the VA.
Stay connected.
This is a question that's been included in every census since 1965.
Our plan will create up to 400,000 new infrastructure jobs.
FM News Talk 97.1.
No more DACA deal.
Younger, smarter, better.
This hour of the Tim Jones Show is brought to you by Convergent Wealth Management, your lifelong financial advocate. ConvergentWM.com.
This is the Tim Jones Show.
And for all these athletes, take a knee. How about my foot in your ass? Thank God Trump did get elected.
The Tim Jones Show.
The media now has declared war on the very American people that put this president into office.
Donald Trump is the first president since Ronald Reagan that wasn't a candy ass. Thanks for being on the air for us. You got a great show.
This is the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1.
Yes. All right. Welcome to another Sunday edition of the Tim Jones Show. It is April the 8th, 2018. I can't believe it's April the 8th. Feels like December the 8th still.
Time is just flying.
Ken, it was snowing on my windshield as I was pulling in this evening.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Welcome to the Tim Jones Show. Ken, how you been doing?
Been doing great.
Good. You getting used to all this rigmarole here?
Getting used to it. If you look in the studio, Ken, you'll notice that I'm moving around a lot more because there's so much more space here.
Yeah, Ken's like on speed tonight. Yeah.
I have a lot. It's all spread out now. So your CDs that you want, all of your audio content that you require is spread out. So
it's because we're an engineering marvel here. There's a lot of the Tim Jones Show is very complex. Like many layers.
Layers, yeah.
I have a lot of leather-bound books. Yes. Like Ken will disappear. I'm like, what, did he just go downstairs? Or, he's picking up a CD or whatever. Hey, you need to go to 971talk.com/events right now. I want you to get tickets to come see yours truly, along with Chris Arps of MoveOnUp.org and a frequent face and guest here at FM News Talk 97.1. You hear him on The Mark Cox Show. You hear him on The Weekend Report, which is also part of this event, The Weekend Report with Chris Arps, Tony Colombo, and KT Bailey. We are welcoming Burgess Owens, the author of, I love this title, Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. Boy, Tucker Carlson has really been focused on this, the loss of patriarchy in our society. And, you remember Pajama Boy with the Obamacare ads? It's just the wussification of the world, and it's not a good thing, And I am someone that, on the other hand, I lift women up every day. I have my wife is a huge part of why I'm standing here behind this microphone, because when I was transitioning out of office, she literally sat me down on the couch. She's a career counselor by trade, and she said, I know you're feeling lost right now, and this is none of your doing, you're term limited, and so you have to leave. And and she said, but you've gained so much skill and talent and things you didn't have 8 years ago. Let's think about all the stuff you can do. And that's how I ended up, because of Suzanne and because of the wonderful folks over at the First Rule Media Network, Travis Brown, my CEO, and everybody else over there. That's how I ended up there. But it was Suzanne, my wife, who really kind of helped open my eyes to being open to things of not just practicing law. I'd done that for 20 years, not just running for office. I'd done that for 15 years, but getting into something I've always loved, which is communication and media and speaking to you all. And boy, have we needed, whether you want to call us conservatives or just common sense Americans, have we needed common sense commentators who stand for the underlying principles, foundations of this and values of this country like never before. I am proud. I am humbled to be part of that fraternity and sorority, because we have so many female voices now in the conservative movement on the radio, from Laura Ingraham on down. Kayleigh McEnany, one of my favorite guests. And also, I have two wonderful daughters who are both likely, if they're not smarter than me already, they're on their way, because the one is already writing books and reading 1,000 pages a week, and the other one is going to be doing very complicated calculus pretty soon, the way she's going with math. So I understand how important it is to raise up everybody, whether no matter what gender, race, color, creed, code they are. But that should not be at the detriment of tearing other people down. And that's what Tucker Carlson's been focused on, and that is exactly what Burgess Owens' book is about. And I think as a black American, he can probably say things and get away with things that perhaps me as a white guy can't, because he's part of the minority class. But he writes a book called Liberalism, or how to turn good men into whiners, weenies, and wimps. You need to come listen to Burgess. I've interviewed him before. I'm going to try to maybe get him on next week, Ken. Maybe we should have him on next week.
That'd be great.
Which will be a week before this event. You'll all love Burgess. For $30, for the low price of $30, you get his book, you get to meet him in person, get photographs, get the VIP reception, listen to the big talk with myself and Tony and Chris and Katie, and then Burgess will give a second keynote at the general admission. $30 VIP, $20 for the general admission. View 17 is going to sell out fast. We've only got I think we can only fit maximum of 200 bodies in there, and that's going to be crowded. And I know the event is selling out. At least the VIPs, I think, are almost gone. So you want to jump on 971talk.com/events to do that. Follow me at Speaker Tim Jones. Ken, I've got a big announcement. Do we have a drum roll or anything?
I think I saw it. No, not yet. We're working on all that.
Do we have our live studio audience?
No.
Okay, we don't have them either. They're in here. They're just muted.
Yeah.
I have hit 7,500 followers on Twitter.
All right.
Woohoo! Yes. Yeah. Now, I'll probably bounce up and down now that I said that, because some of my troll patrol will probably purposefully drop off because I have a dozen or so, or maybe more. I don't know. I've lost track. When you get up to 7,500 followers, you lose track of exactly who's following you. But thank you all for following me. 7,500. I have not bought followers. I have not done any of that, maybe not completely on the up and up kind of way to gin up my profile. I've done it one by one with all of you following me. So if you don't follow me, I'd love you to do that at Speaker Tim Jones on Facebook or Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. That hooks you up with my Facebook profile as well, at Speaker Tim Jones on Facebook or Twitter. We got the YouTube channel back up and running. The Tim Jones Show Facebook page, is it still live when we had the transition and all that? Are we up?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So go to Facebook and you just type in Tim Jones Show. It'll pop up. You can get everything on there as well. It's a beautiful Facebook page. Ken and Annie Fry are continuing to work on that, trying to incorporate everything in. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a...
Speaking of another conservative voice, female voice.
There you go, Annie Fry with Friday. Yeah, she's on Friday on Jamie Owen's show on Friday. And she's on the weekend as well. So there you go. I mean, we got it all here. So, oh boy, I almost burned through that segment. We've got Aaron Willard coming up in the next segment. He is a very longtime friend of mine. He's been neck deep in the swamp the last year up in D.C. God help him, he survived. He's back here in Missouri. Aaron has done tons of work on the political scene, on the public policy space. He's worked in our capital. He's worked outside of our capital for many of our candidates. He worked in D.C. under the Trump administration. He and my very good friend Todd Ambrosiano ran Trump from Missouri. They were the two paid staffers in Missouri, and we had so many other people who helped, like Annette Reed and Lisa Panette and all these other folks. But Aaron is now back in Missouri. He's working with a great group called Missouri Rising. Their job is to crush Claire McCaskill. And we're going to do it this year because Josh Hawley, I think, is going to be the candidate. There's a couple other very notable people running, like Austin Peterson and Tony Minetti. I just don't know. Look, I shoot you straight and I'm a realist. I just don't know that they're going to be able to keep up with Josh Hawley's fundraising prowess through a primary. Maybe they'll surprise me, and they will. So let me say it this way. Whether it's Austin or Tony or Josh, any one of them is going to beat Claire McCaskill because she's eminently beatable. She should have been eminently beatable. Last time we committed an unforced error, but Claire McCaskill has voted for nothing for Missourians. And we're going to talk to Aaron Willard about all those nothings in the next segment. Before I wrap up this segment, and shout out to Lisa Panette and my good friend Jim Lemke, who just texted me and said they're listening tonight. So hello, my friends. I promised you I would tell you why the YouTube shooting did not gain. Where was David Hogg? Why didn't he fly out to California and stage some protest and, boycott somebody for something? And where was the outcry? I'll tell you why. Because the shooter didn't fit the profile or the narrative, so they couldn't make hay out of it. Tucker Carlson. So this is a long clip, but listen to this because he in great detail. It's a long clip, but it's a minute 30 seconds. Okay, so give me a minute 30 seconds here to listen to Tucker as he surgically details for you why the media and the left have generally ignored the YouTube shooter, and it's yesterday's news.
Now let's pause for a moment and pretend this is not the 8 p.m. show on Fox News. Let's pretend it's somewhere else on the dial, maybe CNN or MSNBC or actually any other cable channel or newspaper in America. If that were true, by definition, we'd have to draw hard and fast conclusions from this tragedy using the limited fact set available. We don't really know much at this stage, but sweeping dumb generalizations are what the media do, so we would do that. And of course, we'd need a very specific script in order to make those generalizations. So what do we conclude from what happened yesterday? Well, first off, the shooter was a woman. She was female. So clearly, America has a problem with toxic femininity. And we need to address that crisis right away, starting with more university panels shaming an entire gender. Somebody alert the HR department to this. And then there's the gun. We'd focus relentlessly on the gun because nothing is more pivotal in a shooting than the weapon that was used. It's always the gun's fault. Always. The shooter in this case used a Smith & Wesson 9mm handgun. Those guns need to be banned tomorrow, along with all other assault pistols. And if you disagree with that, you're evil. Next, the shooter was a vegan and a supporter of PETA. Therefore, PETA is now a terrorist organization. Anyone who supports PETA, even those supporters who disapprove of mass shootings, is a monster and has blood on his hands.
Absolutely.
Let's hope that CNN hosts a town hall meeting where YouTube employees can scream at PETA spokesmen.
Yes.
They deserve to be screamed at. They caused the shooting.
Absolutely.
But wait. Media outlets aren't reaching any of those conclusions. Why not?
Of course they're not.
Well, because there's no obvious way to use this shooting to advance the objectives of the Democratic Party. So the media will stop talking about it soon. That's how corrupt they are.
Yeah. You don't think the gangs over at, and they are gangs, over at MSNBC, CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, you don't think they didn't huddle up in their little newsrooms? This happened in the afternoon, right?
I think so, yeah.
You don't think they huddled up before the nightly news or the next morning before the daytime shows launched? You don't think they got together and said, okay, so here's the problem, Bob. Or I could just imagine Joe and Mika. All right, Mika, here's Joe. Joe, Mika, this is a PETA gal, and she's a vegan, and she looks a little. Now she's not Muslim, okay? But if you look at her photos, she's kind of got, I don't know, she has kind of an exotic look to her. I don't know how to describe it. If you look at her, it's you kind of like, and I only say that, and that's not me saying that. People were calling her Muslim, I guess because of how she looks. I don't know. But they were saying that. So they're like, look, we gotta, here's what we don't have, Joe and Mika. Here's what we don't have. We don't have a white, male, Christian fundamentalist who loves Trump. Or an AR-15. Crap.
So what do we do?
What do we do? How do we run with a angry, vegan, PETA-loving female with a handgun? Ooh, that's a tough one. Our minds, you can just see the smoke coming out of their ears. So they gave up. They moved on. They couldn't wedge that into the gun nonsense narrative, could they?
And you know what's really stunning about this, and it's scary, is there are all these competing networks. They're in competition for money, yet they can all converge on each other and sit in a room somewhere because they all did it.
Talking points.
This was not was not like somebody followed someone's suit and then they calmed down. It was like lockstep.
Exactly.
Every network except for Fox just dumped it.
Exactly.
That's scary.
And so here's what else they'd have to do, Ken, and everybody out there listening in listener land. They'd have to maybe confront the real problems of what is the root cause of violence. Because, see, they want the world to believe that the narrative is that all white, Christian, conservative, Trump-loving Americans with guns are the problem. And mainly the gun's the problem. But those are the people that are carrying the guns.
Right.
If that's not the narrative, then they have to actually address something that's not the narrative, and that's called reality. And they'd have to say, what is the root cause of violence in our society?
She was mentally unstable.
Mm-hmm. There was a problem there. And society taught her somewhere along the way that this is the way to solve her problems, which it's not. We would actually have to talk about the person and what affects them and what affected them in society. Those are the things we'd have to talk about instead of just saying, oh, guns are bad. Here's another example. Talk to Mark real fast here. Mark, You're on the Tim Jones Show.
Speaker Jones, pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you for calling.
That tragedy out there in California, and it is. The gun didn't do it; she did it. But it goes back to mental health and just people being helped. I mean, she clearly was screwing the head. Everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. That poor woman had serious problems, and no one did anything. It wasn't the gun.
Yeah, because see, Mark, what you're talking about is it's difficult to talk about, isn't it? And these are things that it's too hard for networks to talk about because they just don't have the intellectual capacity. It's much easier to blame inanimate objects, conservatives, Christians, and Trump supporters.
And that does nothing to help anyone.
That's exactly right. Mark, I really appreciate.
What are we going to do about that?
I know. We just got to keep driving the message of reality. Hey, Mark, I got to run. Thanks for calling. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for taking my call, Speaker.
Absolutely. And we'll try to squeeze Daryl in here. Daryl, welcome to the Tim Jones Show.
I'm first listener, and I love the subject. Thank you for taking my call.
Go right ahead.
I don't have a channel of my own, so I guess you can't really call me a YouTuber, but I do watch and listen to YouTube stuff all the time, okay?
Uh-huh.
I know one listen to a lot of channels, a lot of them conservative. The channels, as you may have already discussed or not, I just started listening, so if you said it, I'm sorry I missed it. But they were demonetized a lot. There was what they call on YouTube an adpocalypse. To where videos were demonetized. The pressure to do that had come from mainstream media outlets because these channels were getting more views than those mainstream conventional channels.
Fascinating.
So I wouldn't be surprised a bit if, while I am going with your flow of the stream, I think I'm maybe coming in from a different tributary.
No, Mark, Daryl, I love it. I love it because, Daryl, basically, if the conversation was broad enough to actually talk about all of these things, instead of just blaming it on AR-15s, which you couldn't in this situation, the networks might have to have a conversation where they look in the mirror.
And maybe do something revolutionary and extraordinary, like research and do their job.
Daryl, incredible. Hey, Daryl, I got to run. I'm up against a break, but thank you, my friend. That was a fascinating point. I'm really glad you called in. Yep. Thank you so much.
Look in the mirror.
I really appreciate Daryl bringing that up. Hey, this is Tim Jones for the Tim Jones Show, FM News Talk 97.1. We got Aaron Willard, Missouri rising. Will Claire survive any further in the Congress? Wise people say no.
This is the Tim Jones Show.
I have to tell my kids that I'm a rock star now.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Traffic reports at your fingertips. Real-time traffic online. Log on to 971talk.com for real-time traffic updates.
Brought to you by Deck and Patio Living. Make your backyard dreams come true. Call 890-2222.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update!
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hey, Tim Jones here again for my good friends at Convergent Wealth Management, John Stobbs and Jeannie Seabaugh. Hey, I'm on their website right now. You should be as well, convergentwm.com. Clicked on services offered. Check this out. Active management of your portfolio, retirement planning, risk management, college planning, estate planning, tax strategies. Like I keep telling you, they are the one-stop shop for everything involving your financial well-being and welfare. Just like you can go to medical services or whatever, and you want that holistic care. Maybe you're one of those folks who want that holistic care. That's Convergent Wealth Management. The financial side, the tax and the tax planning side, the investment strategy side. We're in a volatile place right now, as John always tells me, kind of almost getting back to normal of the volatility index. The sweet spot for them, all you baby boomers, pre-retirement, you're in retirement, maybe you're post-retirement, you're going, uh-oh, am I being properly protected, with all these market ups and downs? That's why you need to go see John Stobbs, Jeannie Seabaugh at Convergent Wealth Management. ConvergentWM.com, 636-536-1800, 636-536-1800. Go to ConvergentWM.com. Give them a call tomorrow because they'll help you with your wealth for the way.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
In the forest near the side of the road.
No need for alarm, sir. The forest is where bears live.
But this was no ordinary bear.
No ordinary bear?
Yeah, 1 second I'm having a smoke taken in the view. Next thing I know, I am face to face with Smokey Bear.
Let me guess, Smokey had a tip for you.
He did. He must have seen me toss my cigarette on the ground. He told me never to do that because it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
He's a smart bear. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
That's what Smokey said. I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous, and you're not.
Good point.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
I look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts.
You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed and up to date.
The U.S. economy is strong.
Getting growth back to 3%.
We have rising wage growth.
Very good for the economy.
The news and talk station for St. Louis.
Putin assassinate people in foreign countries.
Costs and consequences.
We have filed a lawsuit.
The citizenship question on the census.
FM News Talk 97.1.
The leader of North Korea leaving his country for the...
At least we have some hope and optimism now.
Younger, smarter.
Best be very cautious.
Better.
That's what I'm working with.
That Sunday morning choir calling, church doors open wide.
This is the Tim Jones Show. Call now, 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797.
With the porch light on, don't bother calling, no need for knocking, just come on home.
To be honest, on one big fundamental point, Donald Trump is right. China is a trade cheat. Many of the administration's economic documents have been laughably sketchy and amateurish. But the U.S. Trade Representative's report to Congress on China's compliance with global trading rules is an exception worth reading. In measured prose and great detail, it lays out the many ways that China has failed to enact promised economic reforms, backtracked on others, and used formal and informal means to block foreign firms from competing in China's market. all of which directly contradicts Beijing's commitments when it joined the World Trade Organization in 2001.
All right, you can all pick your jaws up off the ground, as I did when I turned on CNN today and Fareed Zakaria said that President Trump did something right. He didn't just say he did something right. He said he did something incredibly right, and he was right. Whoa, stop the presses.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, the great Fareed Zakaria on the incredible CNN network. Oh, you've blessed us with your brilliance. Yeah, we are. Nobody likes trade wars. Nobody likes tariffs. Nobody likes that getting passed on to consumers because that's exactly what happens. But as Fareed Zakaria pointed out, we are so out of whack on that issue because of the prior failings of our prior administrations and Congresses that you can ignore it and make it worse and continue to suffer under it, or you address the problem, you pull off the Band-Aid, which is going to cause some pain. You get those, remember when you were a kid, big plastic Band-Aids, you know, and they hardly had any padding on them, and your mom would just rip them off your arm. It's going to hurt for just a second.
That's the way we rolled back then.
That's right. That's the way we rolled. Uphill both ways to school in 12 feet of snow.
In the snow.
I used to have to stand. My mom and dad are listening, I think. I'm getting texted by everybody tonight, which I appreciate, but I'm trying not to get too distracted. But mom and dad are listening, so they used to make me stand out at the end of the road. We lived in this big old farmhouse out in Eureka. It was the old Peevely Dairy foreman's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, real labor of love. My dad bought it back in the late 70s. It had been abandoned for 15 years. It was like birds and stuff were living in it. My mom cried after my dad bought the house because we basically had to gut the whole thing. I remember as a kid hauling shingles, tar-covered shingles out and probably covered in asbestos and, you know.
Yeah.
So we lived in this really cool house, and it was an old farmhouse, big old farmhouse, and my dad built it with his bare hands, redid it with his bare hands with some workers and stuff. I thought Dad did the whole thing, but he said he had help later. But he had a long driveway. He had a gravel driveway. So everybody who thinks I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I grew up in an old farmhouse with a gravel driveway where I cut the 4 acres of lawn. I was strapped to a lawnmower at the age of 8, maybe 7, maybe 5. And you know, walked uphill both ways in the snow.
Wasn't self-driven.
You know, not self-driven, no. And we had cows in the backyard, barbed wire fence, you know. My mom had a Pinto. Remember Pintos?
Oh, yeah, we had one.
Yeah, no air conditioning. It was like a rolling death trap.
Yep.
It used to catch on fire. I used to have to stand at the end of the driveway in the sub-0 degree weather waiting for the bus. So, anyway. I don't know. Why did I tell that story?
That's all right.
Poor Aaron Willard. He's like, aren't we supposed to be talking about something? Aaron Willard joins me now on the Tim Jones Show. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Tim. I was enjoying that story though, because I was going to say I know we used to go up every summer to Canada, and we had like one of those old Dodge trucks, and we had like the camper shell. That was
yes.
And we literally, my sister and my dad had made this thing where we put like a piece of wood on top of like the wheel well,
yes,
with like a cushion, and we rode back there. Right? Like the entire way to Canada and back. I mean, there's like an outboard motor. There's, you know.
Aaron, if you and I did that nowadays, we would be hotlined to DFS, right?
Oh yeah. I was loving the story. I thought, oh yeah, you know, I've definitely got a story like that too.
So Aaron, you first of all, let me welcome you back home to the great state of Missouri. It's great having you back here. You were up in D.C. for a year working under the Trump administration, which I think is so cool. You were under the White House. What was that like, being neck deep in the swamp every day? I'm sure it was fun, but it was always also probably a lot of work. And what did you take from all that experience?
Yeah, you know, it was awesome. It was a really kind of unique opportunity. You know, definitely something I was happy to take advantage of. And obviously, I mean, the reason I was up there was came through the presidential cycle. I was the state director for the Trump campaign. We got through, obviously, the election, you know, won Missouri in great fashion, 19 points, and got a call to come up to Washington, D.C., work on the inaugural committee. At the time, Missouri was kind of one of the states, even though we'd won by 19, they were kind of considered a battleground state.
Sure.
and they'd kind of said, hey, look, we're obviously going to be putting together the administration, really appreciate the fact, the work that you've done, but also really kind of you've got some background working in state government. We think that we could really use some help. And so had the opportunity, came in, and for the first 90 days, I was a White House liaison, worked at the Office of Personnel Management. And so I really helped a lot of the other departments and agencies onboard some of their, the appointees, and worked with Presidential Personnel Office. And it was just a great opportunity. So I got to meet a ton of people throughout a lot of the administration. So that was great. But kind of to your question, the things that really amazed, me, were we kind of went through the election cycle, and we've always kind of said as conservatives, I think we get frustrated sometimes by the coverage in the mainstream media. And we always kind of know, hey, there's a little bit of bias. I feel like at the state level, it's probably not as prominent, although, they're in St. Louis and Kansas City, we could say maybe that it is.
Right.
But it was amazing the coverage at the national level, how it seemed that whatever the, in all honesty, the Democrat Party was picking up and whatever they were kind of peddling that day ended up being the storyline for what, the media was covering. And
so we're not just imagining that, huh? You actually saw that in action. Fascinating.
It really was, and so if you're involved in politics and, probably you're on some of these things as well. You get different, groups that kind of send out, hey, here's kind of the things that we're working on. This is kind of our message. And so if you would see those things that were coming out kind of from the, the Democratic Party, the DCCC and some of their groups, and you could almost just see the things that they were touting that day ended up being the same line of argument. And that was really, for me, kind of eye-opening. I thought, well, obviously, in politics, you kind of take both sides of it, and everybody kind of argues their opinion. I think that probably, more often than not, we always argue that the media kind of picks up, kind of the left perspective. But I was really amazed that it wasn't just that they were kind of picking up the story. It really looked like they were actually helped drive in the narrative. And that, for me, was one of the most kind of eye-opening things that, that I felt. And then just the sheer size of the federal government is unbelievable. I mean, that was, to me, that was really amazing. And that, unfortunately, you worked in state government, I worked in state government. I think that the federal government is just so much larger, and then to really try to get things done is so difficult, because I think that there's a lot of people that they just know that they look at it and their mindset is kind of, hey, look, we can wait them out.
Yep.
And so that was also, to me, was really kind of frustrating. But at the same time, I mean, it was just, I say that with the caveat as well, that, I mean, there are some really great people as well that are true civil servants. And I think, one of the challenges when you're a new administration coming in is you really try to find those people that are, the true civil servants, and really trying to do, the work of the American people, and you can go straight to them and really cut through and get the answers you need. And the quicker you can kind of identify and find those people, allows you as an administration to kind of get up and running. But so
I
think those are kind of the biggest takeaways I had. It was so much more partisan than I really thought, and then just the sheer size of the federal government is unbelievable.
So, Aaron, you're back here now. You're doing a lot of things. One of the things you're doing is working with a group called Missouri Rising, which folks can find on Twitter at Missouri Rising. And it's an organization focused on promoting conservative issues and shaping the debate in Missouri. And I know one of your key points is the issue of Claire McCaskill really shouldn't be the senator to represent Missourians anymore, because she hasn't stood with Missourians over the last few years. She did not support President Trump, who, as you pointed out, won this state by nearly 20 points. She voted against Neil Gorsuch. She voted against the tax cut. I really don't know where she is on the trade issue. Usually when she doesn't know what to do on something, you just don't hear anything from her. So, Aaron, I mean, I have to ask you, if you're a Democratic consultant, and I know she's extremely wily and one of the most cunning politicians we've ever seen in the state. What's her platform? What does she message to Missourians that she's with them on anything, on any issue?
Well, I think, and this is what I feel like that we've really seen kind of from, McCaskill in the past. And like you said, she's kind of wily. She's very savvy. And I think you have to respect that to a degree, but it's also very frustrating because it butts up against the truth, right? And so I think a lot of times what we see is that she takes on these issues and she kind of says what she thinks people want to hear. But the problem is she often contradicts herself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so one of the things that we always hear, she loves to come back and loves to say, hey, I'm from rural Missouri and I'm one of you and I understand the issues that you care about. But yet she goes and she also spends a lot of time. She spends her vacations with people like Chuck Schumer, and she goes out to Hollywood and raises millions of dollars.
She just had a huge fundraiser in Hollywood last week, right?
Yeah. So I think it's coming up actually maybe next month. And
Okay.
President Obama is kind of the headliner. I mean, and these are people that absolutely do not share the same values that a lot of people in Missouri have. But one of the other lines we always hear is that she's from outstate Missouri. She really understands our issues, and that she's one of us. And I think that's that she has this bipartisan effort that she always seems to want to talk about. But when you look at the real issues that really make a difference, she's never voting on the side of the majority of Missourians would support. So, like you pointed out, the tax cut is one. The confirmation of Judge Gorsuch is another one. But even if you look back to the last election cycle in 2012, I mean, for somebody who talks about that she's kind of likes to work in a bipartisan faction, remember, I mean, she wrote a book about it later, and then bragged in the book that they had spent $1.7 million to manipulate the Republican primary.
Yes.
That's not somebody. It's pretty hard to take somebody serious when that they're bipartisan and they want to work on issues with somebody from the other side when they're out there talking about spending $1.7 million to manipulate the primary process from your opposing party. So, and I don't know, Tim, if you ever, I've been asking some of the state legislators this, but did you ever have a phone call? Did she ever reach out to you on any kind of an issue to talk about what was going on in Missouri?
Never. Even when I was in leadership, she just didn't seem interested at all. She seemed very interested in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing that I've heard is that a lot of people at the state level, now they know it, but they don't necessarily know that everyone else knows it. And so, like you said, that's what Missouri Rising Action and Missouri Rising are really kind of working on. Is we go through and we do a lot of research. And it's really kind of an accountability measure for us to go through and help remind voters. This is what Claire's saying now, and she's going to go out and and it's election year. So she's going to be spending a lot more time in the state of Missouri. But guess what? The last 5 years, what Claire has been doing and saying are not the same things that she's telling now.
Absolutely.
So that's what we really like to focus on is that accountability measure to say, don't forget. And so we've done a lot of research, like you said, and we go out there. If people want to visit MissouriRisingAction.org, we catalog a lot of the information there. Everything is documented, so it's really great, easy to share for people, if they want to do a little bit of research, like the viewers I'm sure that you have.
Yes.
It's a great resource to go and get some information.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, I got to run. The time always goes too fast. Folks, go to MissouriRisingAction.org, at Missouri Rising on Twitter. Aaron, we're going to definitely have you back because this is going to be the biggest story in Missouri leading into the fall.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for having me, Tim.
Thanks, Aaron. Have a good night. This is Tim Jones with The Tim Jones Show. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
This is The Tim Jones Show.
This liberal will be all about taking over and the government running all of your companies.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Log on to 971talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the All in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 971talk.com/Allman.
You need to be motivated.
Be independent.
If you're energetic, a people person.
You can't be afraid to make cold calls. You got to compete with other businesses.
You love meeting people and doing outside sales. Hi, I'm Ellen. My name is Lauren.
My name's Eric.
And I sell advertising.
We are Entercom St. Louis, and we want to talk to you about what the future could hold for you. Go online to entercom.com and apply today. To become part of a team you'll be truly proud of. Entercom is an equal opportunity employer.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Sunday afternoon at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events can affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Sunday afternoon at 1 on FM News Talk 97.1.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Alton to Afton to Collinsville to Cottleville, Clayton to Creek or your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
645-2000. Frederick is the gold standard for roofing, and perhaps priced a bit lower than other bonded and insured roofers. When you invest money into fixing a hole in your roof or putting on a whole new roof, you want the peace of mind that you'll get only with Frederick Roofing. Plus, you can always depend on an immaculate cleanup when the job has been completed by Frederick's own licensed and insured crews.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Hi, this is Curtis Stone. Now, I've cooked a lot of food in my day. Steaks, salads, pasta, seafood, chicken, soup, sandwiches. I mean, you name it, and I've prepared it thousands of times. But even I can't cook enough to feed all of the 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger. That's 1 out of every 5 children. Now, luckily, there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food produced right here in America to feed every last one of those hungry kids. The only problem is getting it to them. That's where the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks comes in. They gather up surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. We call them food angels, and you can be a food angel too. Come on, earn your wings by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Mark Cox Show.
Monday, they're confiscating guns in parts of Illinois. We'll talk to the Illinois Rifle Association. Plus, Mark Lotter on the president sending troops to the border.
Now, weekdays noon to 3 on FM News Talk 97.1.
This hour of the Tim Jones Show is brought to you by Convergent Wealth Management, your lifelong financial advocate. ConvergentWM.com.
This is the Tim Jones Show. Call now. 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Maybe you shouldn't say that about a 17-year-old, but again, he is in the arena, and then he calls for a boycott of her sponsors. Now, what is, really, is that American? To call for
let me explain something. Because I don't
think, and he complains about bullying. That's bullying. I have been the victim of a boycott of sponsors. I lost a job once. It is wrong. You shouldn't do this by team. You should do it by principle.
I agree. But
Yeah, Bill Maher. Never thought I'd say that in my life.
We've been saying it. Like I said before, we're saying it a lot more lately.
We really are, because Bill Maher is on the same page with Tim Jones and Jamie Allman and Laura Ingraham and Mark Cox and Annie Fry and everybody else on this station and all the other great conservative stations around the country on this one single issue. There is no more sacrosanct right that we have than the right is guaranteed to us under the First Amendment. Speech, assembly, speaking your mind, even when it makes other people uncomfortable. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, but you can do a lot up to that point that is protected. And some of the best free speech in this country has been speech from people like Martin Luther King and folks like him that have challenged the status quo to the point where they gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Yep.
And this idea that we just scream censorship and boycott when someone says something we don't like, even though it's offensive to our little triggered safe space, has just gotten out of hand. And that's why Bill Maher says that David Hogg is a bully. And I agree with him. You can't have it both ways. You either enter the arena and you're subject to the rules of the arena, as Bill Maher says, or you stay a 17-year-old kid at home, safe in your parents' house, where nobody has the right to challenge you or attack you because you don't enter the arena. You can't have it both ways.
That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
That he doesn't play by the same rules. So.
Exactly. He wants special rules, like everybody on the left was. Here's what the left wants to do with our Constitution. They want to create rights for certain classifications of people that don't exist there, and they want to destroy actual rights that are already in the Constitution for people they don't agree with, like Second Amendment. Hey, I promised you some stuff on the Syrian issue. The Syrian issue it's just sort of, we're getting the news, we're getting our hands around it. Basically, there was another gas attack. And Donald Trump said, Assad, that's enough. You're an animal, and we're coming for you. This is the same Donald Trump who apparently is best friends with Putin and the Russians and wouldn't do anything to harm them. Well, Assad is Putin's front man. So by extension, by taking on Assad, Trump is taking on Putin. So all you left-wing lunatics out there that think this Russian, well, you've already lost that argument. I don't know why I even go into it. Here's what I can't believe this. This is a Democratic senator who is basically with Trump on this. This is back when Democrats as a whole all cared about foreign policy and protecting this nation. And Cardin is an old school guy. He's an older senator. He's more of probably a blue dog. Here's what he says about what we need to do in regards to Syria.
There needs to be a response. There needs to be an international response. This is against international norms. And
a military one?
Well, first and foremost, President Assad needs to be held accountable for his war crimes. Senator Rubio,
he hasn't been in the 7 years of this war.
Well, Senator Rubio and I have introduced legislation that's passed our committee that would hold the evidence accountable. We need to make sure that there is a proceedings started by the international community to hold them responsible. This is not the first use of chemical weapons. Secondly, Congress passed very strong sanctions against both Russia and Iran. The Syrian regime under President Assad cannot exist without Russia's support and the activities of Iran. The United States, the international community, need to take action against Russia and Iran for what they're doing in Syria. So we need to take a pretty strong response for another use of chemical weapons.
Yeah, maybe for once we can speak with one unified voice as Americans instead of Republicans versus Democrats on this. I was glad to see your Democratic Senator Cardin say that. Now, again, we should not be the world's policeman. I've definitely gotten more libertarian on this issue as we move forward. But on situations like this is where America is needed on the international stage to lead and stand for freedom, democracy, and for people to not be gassed, okay? I mean, this is horrid World War I type stuff. And we got involved in World War I, we got involved in World War II. Very, very good reasons to do so, and this is another good reason to get involved internationally. Now, last but not least, Congressman Trey Gowdy, who's just had it with D.C., so much so that he's going home and probably going to be a federal judge, and I don't blame him. I mean, I go to the place enough that, you know, it's beautiful. I love walking around seeing the monuments, but as far as dealing with the people there, Congressman Gowdy says this about whether or not we should have a second special counsel.
Do you think ultimately we still could see a second special counsel?
I think we could see special counsel. I am
going to withhold final judgment. This is someone who's not part of Main Justice, so that's good. That was our primary complaint, that Main Justice could not do it. We wanted special counsel, and particularly if there's going to be a criminal referral, which I'm not assuming there is, but if there is a criminal referral, I would like to see a special counsel appointed. This is a good interim first step. I've defended Attorney General Sessions when it was kind of lonely to do so. The failure to produce documents is indefensible.
Yes.
The picking of a U.S. attorney in Utah is defensible, even though I disagree with it.
By the way, we're going to finally get to the bottom of one of the most corrupt White Houses to have never been held responsible for anything, the Barack Obama White House, and maybe the Clinton crime family will finally be held to bear as well. I say bring it on. Hey, go to 971talk.com, get your Burgess Owens tickets. Definitely do that. Listen to us next week. We're here every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. Mom and Dad, thanks so much. As always, I wouldn't be here but for you. Suzanne, Katie, Abby, ladies, I love you. I'll be home soon. Bill Cunningham up next, and the great Jamie Ullman back at 5 a.m. on FM News Talk 97.1.
The Tim Jones Show.
The crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Brooklinen Bedding, brooklinen.com. So we spend about a third of our lives in bed. I really don't feel like I need to spend a lot of time convincing you that bedding is important because you're a human being alive on the planet Earth and you sleep. And I'm sure that you have slept in beds where you thought, oh my Lord, that was the best night's sleep I've ever had. Or that those sheets were really scratchy. I'm glad we don't have those sheets at home. So Brooklinen was started by a couple, Vicky and Rich, who slept on a great set of bedding at an upscale hotel, wanted to buy the bedding. They could. It was $800. They said, that's crazy. They looked into the business and decided, we're going to do this. We can go